Alright guys, so I want to give my thoughts and opinions after watching this video by Jerryrigeverything. He went ahead and tore down the OnePlus Open. And I'll say one thing from his teardown video we kind of got a general idea from, is that the OnePlus Open is not a phone you can open up and repair. Now you might say, well, that's pretty obvious because it's a foldable cell phone, and no foldable cell phone can be repaired, right? Because the foldable display, you can't remove it. That simply is not the case. The Galaxy Z Fold 5, as he's shown before, you can actually remove the outside display, get inside of it, replace it, and everything fine without any problems at all. You can actually still reattach the outside display and it won't be broken. Now, not every foldable cell phone is like that. Most of them, they will break the second you take off the foldable display because, as Jerryrig does here, you have to go ahead and cut underneath the display to take it off. Samsung's the only display you could actually technically remove and it won't be broken. Now, again, keep in mind, OnePlus actually uses Samsung's own displays for their phones. But for some reason, when you remove it from this phone, it's going to break no matter what, while Samsung, that's not the case. Second thing is the pull tabs on the battery. The pull tabs are not on the OnePlus batteries, while they are on Samsung's batteries and a lot of other batteries. The Z Fold 5 has pull tabs. It makes it easier when you are going ahead and getting into the phone to replace the batteries. You can actually pull a tab and it comes right out instead of having to pry it out, which obviously could puncture the battery. And you know anything about puncturing batteries and phones, lithium-ion batteries do not do well when you puncture them. If you haven't seen a video about that, make sure you check that out on YouTube because they go kabooey. So, with that being said, though, that's number one. Okay, number two, you can see that there are some problems with his display right here, and there are some black spots actually popped up. Now, we actually saw this on Marquise Brownlee's video, too, when he did his review of the OnePlus Open, where there was some black marks on his phone, and actually some, over time, it seemed like his display was kind of breaking. Now, why was that the case? Well, first off, Jerry knows exactly why that's the case, because he did his durability test, and he put sand and dirt on the display. Now, it was on the display, it was not inside the display. But because of all the cracks and crevices of this phone, dirt got underneath the display. And so, over time of him just putting it on his shelf and letting it sit there, all that dirt underneath that display literally started breaking his display. So, again, keep in mind, the OnePlus Open is not dust resistant, so you have to be very mindful of this. So it's very possible that a piece of dust or dirt could get underneath this display and break it. We saw it with Marquise Brownlee, and as he tears down this phone, you actually see underneath the display, right where there's problems and issues, you see the actual piece of dust, that's dirt, that got underneath the display that caused it to break. So again, just more things to kind of take in consideration. OnePlus Open's an amazing phone, but if you get one, you gotta make sure you take care of the idea of keep it away from dust, keep it away from dirt. Don't have any chance of a problem there. Now, I'm not going to say right now that Jerryrigeverything was going, light with taking off this outside screen. And I'm not trying to use it as like, well, see, clearly he did this video and clearly couldn't take off the outside screen. That means it's not removable. No, I'm talking about in general. There are other videos of people taking off this outside display and it's very much impossible. Even people who are trying to take it off very gently. Now, for him, I think he was at first, and then he kind of broke it, and he just didn't care. But in general, this phone is known for taking off the outside display. Yeah, it's almost impossible. While the Galaxy Z Fold series, it's not impossible at all. It's actually very logical. Alright, so going down a little bit farther, he does find this copper layer, which I think is really kind of cool. Not copper, forget the name of it. The same stuff you use on cars. But anyway, so he does take that off. And then here's the thing that I find funny, and he actually does kind of make a joke about this. By the way, this is where the dust and dirt builds up behind the display. And this is where it causes a problem to obviously, again, break the display. But OnePlus Open says it has titanium in the phone, right? Obviously, the same thing, that the iPhone 15 Pro Max has. It has titanium body all the way around. Well, While Apple has a very, very thin layer of titanium around the edges of the phone, OnePlus has titanium screws in the hinge. You see these gold screws right here? 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 gold screws are titanium screws. They put 4 titanium screws in their hinge so that they could say that their phone has titanium inside. It's not false advertising because it technically now does have titanium, and they're not lying about that. That's fully true. It's just like, it's kind of it's like miscommunication of like, not miscommunication, it's kind of like manipulation in a way though, because when someone says, hey, we have titanium in our phone, the first thing you're going to think about as a consumer is, oh, so the body or the frame is made from titanium, so that means it's very strong and, you know, it's amazing. No, it's not at all, actually. It's completely the opposite. It's just that 4 screws that have nothing to do with the overall build of the phone, / helping the phone. Those 4 screws are titanium. So, don't worry if you test titanium for this phone. Technically speaking, this phone does contain some levels of titanium. How many? Well, very small amounts, and don't worry, you're not gonna ever notice it because it's the screws. So I thought that was kind of funny, / kind of like a little schemy there by OnePlus. Obviously, not really OnePlus's fault. This is just this is Oppo Find N3 rebranded. So it's, you know, it is what it is. So again, like I said, these 2 batteries, there's one here and then there's one here. Both of these do not have any pull tabs. So if you need to replace these batteries and you obviously, you know, front display, the good thing is, right, you don't have to remove the front display to replace the batteries. That is a positive, and this is for most foldable phones at this point, is that the batteries are usually on the outside. So this is the front display, this is the back one. You can just take this off, you can take this off and replace batteries while never really touching the inside display at all. So that's a positive, but again, like I said, these do not have pull tabs, and it tells you right on the thing, do not puncture these, because again, you puncture these batteries and they're going to go kabooey. Well, you can't kind of take it out without puncturing it, because, well, not puncturing, without like somehow, you know, being rough with it because there's no pull tab. So, let's see OnePlus maybe eventually add that to their repertoire of giving us, you know, pull tabs on the OnePlus Open's batteries. At the end of the day, you know, these foldable phones, while they're great and amazing, they have a lifespan. They have a not a short shelf life. I would say a shelf life of only so many uses because of the fact that they can't be fixed. Like, they can't be replaced. It's very hard to replace these phones. And with that being said, you know, it would be nice to see as many options as possible for, I know Samsung's doing a really great job of this when it comes to the Z Fold 5, of being able to go in there and fix a lot of these problems and issues. So, overall wise, you know, again, like I said, Samsung, you know, in my opinion, doing probably the best job of any foldable phone manufacturer out there. OnePlus, still an amazing phone, still a great phone. Love the OnePlus Open. And again, I love what it has done for the consumer base, you know, for the tech industry when it comes to foldable phones. It really gives another competitor out there. But these are the titanium screws, by the way. This is why they can call it titanium. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws right here. Those gold screws, those are titanium screws. And they're literally, that's how they're able to say it has titanium inside. So while Apple might have spent like billions of dollars trying to get, you know, titanium around the edge, which again, it's such a small amount. If you really break down the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and actually Jerryrig Everything does it, you can see how small amount of titanium is actually in the iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's literally less than like a little thin layer. But yeah, this is how OnePlus gets away with that one. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next one.